So a few days ago, I saw the trailer to the new Minecraft movie, and I saw the little bee character, and I just thought I had to make a tutorial out of that in Blender. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This is going to be a step-by-step guide on making a Minecraft bee in Blender. We're going to be covering all sorts of cool things like modeling and particles. If you don't already know the very basics of Blender, I'd recommend you go and review that first, because this is going to be a little bit of a fast-paced tutorial. It's not going to be a time-lapse or anything, but you should already know the basics of Blender. Other than that, it is still a pretty beginner-friendly tutorial. So yeah, this is it, and I really think you guys will enjoy it. I will be uploading this blend file as well to my Patreon, so those of you in the Patreon will be getting that. You can check more of that out in the description. So yeah, let's jump in and make this adorable little guy in Blender. With a new scene open up in Blender, select the default cube and then go into your right orthographic view. Then we're going to tab into edit mode, and then inside of edit mode, with all of this active, we're going to go S, Y, and scale it about this much. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go into the front orthographic view. We're going to go over to our mirror modifier. We're going to add, and we're going to click on search and type in MIR. And we're going to add a mirror modifier. And then I'm going to go into the X-ray, just toggle it on. I'll select this half over here and go G, Y, and move it over. And I'm going to enable the clipping. And then I'm going to go G, X, and just move it in until it snaps together. And then with this face active, I'm going to go X. I'm just going to delete that face. I'll turn off the X-ray. And now we have this, but we want to make it look more like the bee. So we're going to go A to select everything. We're going to go Control B to create a bevel. And let's go about this much. And then let's roll the middle mouse button twice just to add in some segments like this. There we go, that should do. Click, and then we're going to come over here on the side, Control R, you should see a yellow line. Then just roll your middle mouse button until you add in a whole bunch more segments. So let's go with something like this for now. Double click. Then over here, Control R, and you'll see the yellow line going this way, and then roll your middle mouse button. And we're just creating these rough squares. And then in the front view, Control R, roll your middle mouse button. It doesn't have to be exact, but as long as you have these sort of squares, like so. Then in your front orthographic view, you're going to go Shift A, add in a cube, and just for now, turn off clipping, and then go G, bring it over, and then engage clipping again. Then go S to scale it down, and this is going to be the eyes. And we're going to go S, Z, and scale it up a little bit to make something that looks like this. And then in the right orthographic view, we're going to go S, Y, and flatten it a little bit. And then let's go G, Y, and move it forward to about here. And then in the front view, we're going to go G, X, and move it in. We're going to place it right about here. And with it all active, we're going to go Control B and create a slight bevel. Let's go about this much and click. Then Control R, roll in some edges. Control R, roll in some edges. And then over here on the side, Control R, and let's roll in about 2. And that's all good, but what we can do to make this look better is enable proportional editing. Make it connected only. And then just go Shift Alt and left click to loop select this edge and go S, Z, and then roll your middle mouse button down with the influence and just kind of give it a little bit of bulge. Then Shift Alt left click on this edge, S, X, and give it a little bit of bulge like so. And then grab this middle vertex and in the side view, in the right orthographic view, kind of bulge it out like so. And then you can also grab this guy and kind of scale it out a little bit. Just a little bit of bulge like that, I think, makes it look a little bit better. Cool. So now with that done, what we're going to do is we'll make the legs. So in a front view, Shift A, let's add in another cube. Just quickly turn off the clipping, G and move it over, and then enable the clipping again, and then just scale this down. And we're going to bring this about here. Scale it down a little bit more. I'm going to turn off proportional editing. And if it's easier, just toggle on the X-ray and then select this bottom face. Then go G and move it down, S to scale, and then R to rotate. Something like this. And in the right orthographic view, select these verts and go Control L to select the whole thing. And we're just going to go G and move it to the front. We're going to rotate it by pressing R. And let's select these verts over here. We're just going to go G and pull them out a little bit. I'm going to go in here, Control R, roll the middle mouse button once, just add it in. And then I'm going to click again, and I'm going to go G to move it over here. Control B to create a bevel, and you can roll your middle mouse button, just add in a few segments like this, and then click. And then in your front orthographic view, you're going to just make sure the whole thing is selected by going Control L. And if you want to, you can give it a little bit more rotation like this. That's looking pretty good. And then you're just going to go in your right orthographic again, and you're going to move it back by going Shift D. And let's go Shift D again and duplicate another one, moving it back here. I'm going to turn off the X-ray toggle, and now you can see this is what we have. And now we're just going to make the antenna at the front. So we're going to, once again, we'll just quickly go to our modifier, just turn off clipping, Shift A, add in a cube, and then go G to move it over, S to scale it. Let's go quite small like this, and then bring it over here to the front. And in your left orthographic view, just move it forward. So we just have a little cube. I'm going to turn clipping back on. And what we'll do is maybe make it even a bit smaller by scaling it. We're going to go to our face select option. And I'll just quickly move Blender back into place. There we go. And you're going to select this bottom face and go E to extrude it down and then S to scale. And then select this top face and then go E to extrude up and then S to scale like so. And then E to extrude a little bit more. And then E to extrude again and then S to scale. And then E to extrude up slightly. E to extrude again up to about here. And then E to extrude and then S to scale slightly. And then come over here, Control R, and roll in a few segments, and then just click. And then come in here, Control R, one loop, double click. Control R over here, one click, double click, like so. And then with any edge selected, go Control L to select the whole thing. Then go over to your smooth tool, and then just click on this little gizmo and just smooth it out. Enable proportional editing again, and make sure connected only is enabled. And then in your front view, if this will active, just rotate it slightly and then move it in. And I might scale it up just a little bit more. And if you want to, go into your side view and then move it in and rotate it like so. If you want to, select some of these verts and you can give this a little bit of rotation with proportional editing. Something like that should be fine. Then press A to select everything, go Alt and recalculate the outside normals. And now we're just going to make a little bit of shaping with the body. So we're going to go Shift Alt and left click to select the loop like so. With proportional editing, we're just going to go Alt S and scale out along the normals. And just kind of, with proportional editing, just influence it like this. So that's all we're going to do, just a little bit of shaping. But that's it, that's all we're going to do. We're going to tab out, and we're going to right click and go Shade Smooth. Okay, so with the B selected, first of all, let's just go to our render engine. Let's just change it to cycles. And then if you, as well, just a device. If you have a GPU, I recommend you use it. And under the max samples, let's just make that 45. With that out of the way, we have cycles now enabled. We're just going to go to our material properties. With the B selected, we're going to just create a material. There should already be one because we use the default cube. We're just going to name it B. Okay, and then we're going to go plus and create a new material. And let's just call this I. And with the I material, let's just go down to the viewport display and let's just make the color here black. So now if we tab into edit mode and we select a vertex on the eye, we can go Control L and over here under our properties, select the eye and assign it, as you can see. And then we're also going to go plus. We're going to create a new material and let's just call it, double click on it and call it legs. Another viewport display, let's just make that yellowish. And then let's just select some verts on these legs and go Control L. They're all now active and we're just going to give them that legs. And then let's select a vertex in the antenna, go Control L. Let's go plus and let's go assign and go new. And under the viewport display, let's kind of make this like a darker kind of color. Just in the viewport display, and let's just call these antennae and assign that. And then with the B, let's just select that and let's go to the viewport display and just kind of give that its own kind of yellow for now, something like that. Okay, so the cool thing here now, what we can do is we can select a vertex on the B and go Control L to select it. So the whole B body is active. Go over to UV editing and then with it active over here, just press U and just click on unwrap. The whole thing's going to unwrap like this in kind of a messy way, but it doesn't really matter. So we're just going to go and make sure it's kind of in the center here, which it is. And then we're going to go over to our material properties. We're going to click on the B material here and go to the base color and change it to image texture. We're going to click on new and let's just come here to the color. Let's make the value lighter and make it kind of yellowish. So I'm going to go something like that. It looks like a nice beige kind of yellow. I'm going to go new image. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to double click here and just call it B texture. And let's come over here to the drop down up here and where it's up here, and just make that the B texture. And then go to image and save as, and I'm just going to save this B image.png to my desktop. And now let's go to our shading workspace, or maybe better yet, our texture paint workspace. And what we're going to do here is we're going to come up here to where this color palette is. We're going to change this to black. We're going to take our brush radius down, and then over here, we're going to come and just paint on our B. So I might make my radius a little bit bigger. I'm going to come over here and just paint down on the side like so. There we go. And then I'm going to move down a little bit. I'm going to paint here and then over here on the back. Okay. Then I'm going to go to my top orthographic view, and I'm just going to complete this by bringing it in and getting it to join. Do the same thing over here. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. And then go to your bottom orthographic view and just paint through and make it connect. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just something like that. And in the side here, I'll just kind of fix it up just a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect at all. Then come over here to image and just click on save to save that texture. Awesome. And now we can go back to our layout. We're going to select our B and tab into edit mode, and we're just going to select any vertex on the B body, go Control L, and then we're going to go P, and we're going to separate that selection. I'm going to tab back out, and then now with just this B body selected, we're going to go over to our particles, click on plus, and let's make it hair. Let's click on advanced, and under the source here, let's make sure use modifier stack is enabled. Under the hair length, bring it way down, something like this. And then scroll down to children, make it interpolated, and for the viewport amount over here, where it says 10, we're going to make that 40. And then let's come over here to the viewport display. Probably don't need to do anything there, but let's go down under the children to roughness. Let's give it a bit of random, a little bit of endpoint, and a little bit of the top one here, just slightly. And the thing is, we don't really want the hairs here where the eyes are. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our object data properties. I'm going to come here to the vertex group and click plus. And then tab into edit mode, and then press A to select everything, and then just assign it to that group. And then wherever the eye is here, so we're going to go into the front view, wherever the eye is, we're just going to select these faces over here. So just these ones here. Maybe just not these ones, so just these ones. And we're going to come here and we're going to remove them from that group. So the only ones that are active are these ones here. I might just grow them a little bit more and assign. So we just essentially just want the ones behind the eye here, not assigned. Okay. You could also, if you want to, just go into white paint, and you can paint that way if you wanted to, but I'm just going to do it that way. So I'm going to go back into object, and now we can go back to our particles. We can scroll down to the vertex group, and under the density here, we can change it to group, and now it's not applying it there. We're also going to come to the hair shape and make the root diameter 0.4. And we're also going to come up here to the drop down, and let's just make the viewport texture so we can see it like this. So now we have our fluffy little bee. So let's continue. We're going to select our antennae and our legs, and you can see they're all one object. So let's tab into edit mode, and what we're going to do, we'll just select a vertex in the eye and go Control L and press P and separate that selection. Tab back into object mode, and now click on the antennae, and it should just be the antennae and the legs that are together, like so. And I think we'll probably split them up too. So I'm going to tab into edit mode and just select this antennae and go P, separate by selection. And then I'm going to select the antennae. I'm going to go to my particles. I'm going to come here plus. I'm going to come to the drop down and just give it the original particle settings. And then I'm going to click on this little 2 to make it its own one. And I'm going to call it antennae. And I'm going to come down to the children here, and I'm going to make it 12. And in the render here, I'm just going to make it 30. And then I'll scroll up, and I'll just come to the hair length and just decrease it. And I'll also scroll down to the render. And under the materials, I'll change it to antennae, like so. There we go. And now we're going to select the legs. I'm going to come to the particles and click plus. Come to the drop down and let's give it the antennae one. Let's click on the little 2 to make it its own material. Let's call it legs. And let's scroll down to the render and let's change the material here to legs. And let's go back up and let's go to the hair length and just give it a little bit more length. And we probably might want to, with that one, just scroll down to the children and make the viewport amount 30 and the render amount will make 70, like so. Okay, that's looking really good. So now what we're going to do, we're going to select our camera, press 0 to go into camera view, and you can position your camera however you want. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I'm going to go something like this. And because we already changed it to cycles, we can now go Shift A, just add in an area light and move it up. And with this area light, I'm going to go to my light properties and make it 300 on the strength. And increase the size. And now if I go Z and go rendered, I can see this. I'm going to rotate it, Shift D to duplicate and rotate again. And what I'm creating now is just a system of lights. So I'm just going to duplicate another one, kind of have it kind of almost coming from the front. And now I'm going to select antennae. I'm going to go to materials, click on the antenna material, and under the surface here, I'm going to make it kind of like a darker color. Then I'm going to click on the eye, and I'm going to click on the eye material. I'm going to come to the surface base color and make it black. And I'm going to drag down this roughness to make it reflective. Then I'm going to click on the legs, and I'm going to click here on the legs material. I'm going to come to the base color and just kind of make it a nice kind of bee yellow. Kind of trying to match the body a little bit. But I might just make the value slightly darker. There we go. And now with that done, I'm going to make sure to save. And I'm going to go render. And I'm just going to do this as a test render by clicking on render image. And there we have an adorable little fluffy bee. So let's quickly make the wings. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select all of these lights and the camera, and I'm going to press M. I'm going to create a new collection and call it stage and go create. And then over here, I'll just turn them off in the viewport. We're going to go Shift A, and under our mesh options, we're going to add in a plane. In our top orthographic view, we're going to go G and move it over. And let's go to modifiers, add modifier, search, and let's type in mirror, add it in. And let's tab into edit mode and go S to, first of all, let's actually click on the mirror object here and into eyedropper. We'll select a B, and now the mirror is in the right position. So we're going to just select this and scale it down. And I will also change this back to median point under the transform pivot. I'm just going to scale this guy down like so. And then I'm going to grab this edge here. I'm going to go E to extrude to about here. And then E to extrude again, and then I'll go to my edge select and just select this edge, and I go E to extrude that out. And I might just simply grab these two edges here and rotate them. And we're just making a very simple looking wing. And I might move this in a little bit, scale this. So this sort of shape, you guys kind of get the idea here. And then in the front view, I'm going to go A, just move it all up like so. And then I'm going to go to my modifiers, add modifier, search and type in solid. And let's give it a solidify. And I'm just going to drag this thickness up like so. And for now, I'll just turn it off in the viewport. And up here now, I'm going to go Control R, click and just slide in an edge over here. Control R, click and slide in an edge over here. And now I'm going to go add modifier, search and type in sub. I'm going to give it a subdivision surface, but I'm going to drag the subdiv above the solidify. And then I'm going to increase it in the viewport and the render. Okay, so something like this, and I'm going to go here, Control R, maybe just slide an edge in over here. Control R, left click, slide one in over here. Might just scale this one. Just making a very basic shape, so I'm not going to explain every little detail, but you guys get the idea. And then I'm going to come over here, and I'll just turn the solidify back on in the viewport display. And in the front view, I'm just going to select it and rotate it and then bring it in like so. And in the top view, I'll kind of rotate it slightly. And then Shift D to duplicate, R to rotate, S to scale. And I'll kind of have one coming in from here. Okay, it's a very simple shape. Tab back out, and now with these guys active, I'm going to go to my materials tab here, click new, and I'll call this wings. And I'm just going to come here to the transmission and give it a value, and then bring the roughness down a little bit, and under the base color, I'm going to give it a slightly bluish color. So now in our camera view, if we go Z and we go rendered, we can see we kind of have the wings over here. I might just increase the roughness just a bit. Okay, I'm going to bring my stage back by enabling it so I can see the lighting. And there we have it. So now we'll give it a test render. But before we do that, I just want to show you my original. So this is my original. It's the exact same thing. I just made the wings a little bit thinner, and I just added kind of like a black rim on the wings here. But honestly, you can make the wings however you want. I think at this point, if you've made the bee, you can do whatever you want with the wings. But this is kind of what I did with my original, but it's the exact same thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and get a camera angle that we like, make any final adjustments that you want to your bee. So I might make the wings just a little bit smaller. There we go. Make sure to save and then go render and render the image. And there we have it, a little Minecraft bee. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will be uploading this file to my Patreon. So those of you who are on the Patreon, you can check that out in the description. I'll be making this file available. And yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.